You've survived another week. Thank you for listening, downloading, and supporting the Black Man with a Gun Show. I want to welcome all our new subscribers to our app, our free app, by the way, that you too can find at iTunes Store or Google Play if you do the Android thing. This week I got a few books I want to recommend to you. Some thoughts about the gun that you should carry for concealed carry. And then Michael J Woodland is going to talk about training versus competition. And would like to introduce a new feature, our event calendar. Things are a little slower than usual, and that's normal if you're new to this. Around this time, folks get prepared for the SHOT Show if they're going. They get ready for hunting season, and people are talking about Christmas and holidays and Halloween and everything else other than the shooting community. One of the things that's not happening a lot right now is respect. Respect for others, respect for others' opinions, respect for time, just respect in general. Just a thought. Let me know if I'm off base on that one or if you concur. And let's get started. Hi, my name is Reverend Ken Blanchard, the guy known as the Black Man with a Gun. And this is the podcast of the African American gun community, amplifying our voices with American history, sharing training, news, and positive information for all America. Welcome to the show. All right, so how you doing this week? What's going on in your world? Feel free to shoot me an email at blackmanwithagun@gmail.com to let me know. I'm one of those crazy people who actually cares what's happening with you. You know, there's a lot of new gun stuff coming out, but they're holding it under wraps for the most part until the big unveiling at SHOT Show. For those few who are in the know, and I'm not one of those guys, I'm just like you. I'm out here just trying to make it. One of the things I am doing is I'm transitioning and using what I know to help other people. So I'm working on Ken Blanchard Consulting to become a graphics and design company to help people in the gun industry that need album art, logos, and all that good stuff. The bad part is I'm working with a whole bunch of artists, and it's like working with cats. We're all in our feelings and stuff. Who wants to take control and blah, 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 but it'll come out here shortly. So as soon as you need something, you let me know. And you can find that at kenblanchard.com. That's Ken with two N's. That's me, your friend and your brother from another mother. And you may have heard that I have a new podcast. I have 4 right now, but I'm going to let 2 of them others die on the vine. The Warrior Cast podcast, my podcast for mixed martial arts that I was doing with my son. My man done moved out on me now, so I'm going to let that go. And Ken Blanchard Show, which was just a hodgepodge of anything I could think of that was positive. I was sticking in there. Well, I'm taking all that positivity and everything else that I did and mixing it with my ministry. So if you're curious about what that is, check out speaklifepodcast.com and take a listen. We're only up to episode number 3, and I do believe it will bless your socks off. If you're new to the concealed carry world, welcome. If you just decided to carry to protect yourself and your family, I applaud you. I got a question, and I'm going to answer. It's kind of short. What's the best gun for concealed carry? Now, in all honesty, that's subjective. The best gun for you is the one that you have and can use effectively. It's the proper answer. The best gun for you is the one you can afford. The best gun for you is the one that you have mastered, and that's a personal pet peeve of mine. Doesn't matter if you have 20 or you got X caliber or this caliber. It's the one that you can actually use effectively. Brand names don't count. No, not really. What makes a good gun? For some, it's price. For some, it's style. For some, it's make or caliber. It's really, really, really subjective. There is a thing called stopping power, but that just depends on who you're trying to stop. Somebody who's on drugs might not react the same as a good guy that you shouldn't have shot in the first place. Or maybe somebody who is of larger stature will act different than the one that's smaller. A person who's been shot before reacts different than a person who's never been shot before. What I recommend, though, is that the best caliber for you is the one that allows you to shoot well and often and carries enough punch to do the job. Scientifically, everything around the 9mm, 357, 38 caliber or bigger has proven stopping power. For me, it's 9mm, otherwise known as the 9mm 9x19 Parabellum. Now, while the 40 Smith & Wesson is a bit bigger and the 45 ACP even more so, The 9mm is just more affordable, which means I can practice more and be more proficient. The 40, I got one, but it has a snap to it that doesn't allow me to control it as comfortable as the 9 or the 45. The 45, I can get used to. After you shoot it for a while, boom, you're in the house. And I also like the 357 and the 45. If I had to go to combat tomorrow, it would be one of the ladders that I take. No messing around. 45 or 357. You know, how you carry conceal is important as well. It can change with the seasons, the clothing you wear, and your mood, actually. But it should be as uniform as possible. What I'm saying is the way you carry should be the same all the time, so that in case of stress, you don't start searching for your gun like you're doing a pat down on a bad guy. Your hands automatically know where to go, because in the time of stress, fine motor skills go out the window. You get real dumb. So to master it, I recommend that you do the same carry method and use it in the same gun, whatever that is. Now, you can carry in your waistband, outside the waistband, in your underwear, in your bra, from your shoulder, from your hip, from your ankle, from your small of your back, from any clothing that you have, from bags, purses, backpacks, and racks. But the key is concealment. With a quality holster, good practice, and self-mastery, nobody should know that you're carrying. That gives you an advantage of time. Time can be a game changer. Now, I know you want to whip that joker out fast as you can, right? When you're in competition shooting and you're practicing on the range, you can really draw really fast. You can get that thing out. But see, accuracy is final. Speed is cool, but accuracy is what counts. And you won't get to proficient unless you practice. Doesn't matter whether you have a revolver, a single stack, a double stack, a semi-auto, a striker fire, polymer, or steel. Doesn't matter. What matters is that what you're comfortable with and can shoot well. So that was all over the place, right? But not really. It means find a gun that you're comfortable with and master it. Whatever you're mastering, let me know what it is. Shoot me a note and let me know. See, it kind of ingrains it. It's kind of like when you write something down, it makes it real. Now start practicing. Speaking of practice, Michael J Woodland is up next. What you got for me, big guy?
Thank you, Ken, and welcome to another Tips and Review segment. I am Michael Woodland, and today we're going to discuss training versus competition. A while back, there was an article presented to me talking about tactical training and competition shooting written by a law enforcement officer. It came across as doing competition shooting is embedding bad habits when it's time for a real-world application. These two are on different ends of the spectrum, but why pit the two against each other? The name of the game is called shooting, and between the two different styles of shooting, there is a character within both that makes you better. It's called consistency. Regardless of who you seek out for training, there are different measures as to what the instructor will teach to become better. There are some that talk and say just do, where there are others who will teach and explain the why. Regardless of what you get out of the course you just attended, staying active on the trigger is what will make you better. Even when you take a shooting course, you will run drills. After so many blocks of instruction and sometime during the course, you should do a check on learning where you will put together what you learned in a live application, more than likely under the clock. Getting better should only be competition within yourself. Some of the pitfalls when you look at the two from a negative standpoint. Tactical shooting is more getting ready for war. It doesn't focus on individual shooting, and the setup for your gear is different. True, but not true. Regardless if you are training in a tactical course, in order to shoot as a team, you have to discover your limits by shooting as an individual. The gear is set up differently for the efficiency of motion and not stages. What about competition shooting with steel trains bad habit with shooting one shot at the target after a hit and moving on? Again, in my opinion, steel gives you instant feedback, and a shooting competition with steel makes you better and faster. When shooting competition, there are rules requiring how the shot will take place for scoring. Normally in the USPSA, it's the 2 best shots on paper, but that does not mean you can't dump a whole magazine on a target if you choose to. It's the rules that causes you to think and kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone to get the lowest time on the clock for the better shots according to the rules. So again, why pit the 2 against each other? Let them complement each other with training. My suggestion would be to look at it like this. If you happen to take a tactical course of some kind, give yourself a celebration party for being someone who is responsible enough to get prepared for the unknown. Now, if you're not going to continue taking course after course because they can get expensive, you can apply some of those same skills you just learned from the tactical course to a shooting match in your community. The matches in USPSA, IDPA, and even 3-gun in your community will change every time you go out. But you do have the ability to walk in game where your shots are being taken. Once again, the difference between competition and tactical training. 1, you are planning for the best actions of the unknown. The other, you are gaming against the clock. Again, consistency is the bottom line in the game of shooting. Instead of pitting the 2 against each other as to state why you shouldn't do one or the other because of the negative, let's use the benefit that they can complement each other with speed and proficiency when it comes to your individual needs. Now, call up that range buddy you have, get some rounds, get your gear, and head to the range, or plan your next visit for the competition coming up in your area. For those who are looking to contact me, visit blackmanwiththegun.com and under the Leaders tab, click on my name, Michael Woodland, and shoot me an email. Until next week, keep shooting, keep practicing, and have fun. Back to you, Ken.
All right, man. Thanks so much.
This portion of the show is sponsored by CrossbreedHolsters.com. Crossbreed Holsters has gained national recognition as a maker of the best and most functional concealment holsters available on the market today. Each holster is handcrafted to ensure your firearm is safe and secure while carrying, combined with the best customer service in the industry. Visit CrossbreedHolsters.com.
And another thing, I was talking about the concealed carry piece, about it doesn't matter what you have. But if you pick something, I'm going to give you a few things that you should think about for that concealed carry gun. Whatever your choice, there are some features that are particularly suitable for concealed carry. You want to carry a gun that is snag-free. What I'm saying is, shouldn't be any sharp edges, nothing that can hook on your clothing or reveal the pistol or wear holes in your garments or catch on the fabric. You want it to be something that can come out smooth, no matter what you got, what you're wearing. If you just have to have a sharp-edged, non-ramped front sight, make sure that your holster has a channel in it that will prevent that from catching. Some shooters really do have a need for adjustable rear sights. They're carrying a hunting handgun or a match handgun that needs to be precisely zeroed and may need the sights adjusted to take advantage of the different ammunition power levels. Well, those edges, those sights, should be rounded, even if the custom gunsmith has to do it for you. Look at your grip. Make sure that grip and the grip frame area give a hand enough traction, even if it's wet, with sweat or blood or rain. The defensive handgun, remember, is an emergency tool. Smooth metal frames coupled with pearly or even ivory handles, if they don't have any finger grooves, need to be something. Otherwise, it's going to feel like you're carrying a bar of soap in there when you grab it. Some secure grip surfaces can be a little bit too tacky for concealed carry, meaning they'll snag. Remember, depending on the undergarment, rubber grips have been known to catch inner clothing surfaces and hike up the garment to reveal the handgun. Skateboard-like grips that lock the gun solidly in the hand can just tear up your coat lining too. Whenever you're wearing the next to bare skin, it can be painful. So make sure that you wear something that doesn't snag your clothes, but is still comfortable enough to wear. One of the must-haves for a concealed carry gun is night sights. Most armed encounters happen in dim light or night between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Tritium sights can be the boss at this time. if you wake up in a strange place or in pitch darkness, those dots, help find your gun. Laser sights, they're kind of getting all the rage now. They're a lot easier, like the Laser Max and some of the ones that are built into the firearm. Not too bad. The Crimson Trace, for example, pretty cool. Not necessary, but nice to have if you train with it, if you practice with it. Plus, you've seen it in the movies. If somebody gets a red dot or a green dot put on them, it might change their attitude a little bit, and you might not have to shoot them. But don't play with the light. Don't even do it if you're not going to do it for real. Speaking of lights, how about putting a big old white light on there? Well, it's logical for all-around defense pistol that you might leave in the home. There's quite a few companies, actually, that make those white light attachments. I got a Veridium combo on my home gun that has the green laser and the big bright white light. But there's Streamlight, Insight, Black Hawk, Surefire. There's tons. But if you're going to wear that on your person, make sure your holster fits it. Remember, size doesn't really matter when it comes to power. You can have a pocket 9, a pocket 380, a pocket 32, a pocket 25, 22. You can have a pocket 45. The caliber is what matters. Won't be fun practicing with some of these things, but all that comes into account on what's your purpose. One last factor that I'm thinking about, make sure your trigger pull is probably a little heavier but smooth on a defensive handgun, but not light, not hair trigger. You want that one in your pocket to be like a New York trigger. And that's just me personally saying that. New York triggers usually are like, 10, 12 pound pull. Making sure that while it's moving around in your pocket or in your holster or on your body, that it's not going to accidentally get snagged on something and go off. The heavy triggers, still want it to be smooth, but you don't want that thing to be, well, you know what I'm saying. Accidental discharges can be fatal, and you don't want that to be you. Masada Yu told me that you always want to use enough gun. He said that small caliber weapons simply don't have enough oomph to stop a violent human being. He always says that friends don't let friends carry mouse guns. So I kind of go with that. So to piggyback on what I was saying before, your best bet is a caliber range that encompasses that 38 Special, 357 Magnum, 9mm Luger, 40 Smith & Wesson, 10mm 45 and 45 GAP. There are some other rarely carried rounds within that range, but any of those with a proper high-tech hollow point defensive ammunition can definitely get you home. Hey, I just remembered that somebody asked me for a list of books to look for to increase their knowledge for their library. So I'm going to give you 5 top of mind books. Number 1, anything by Masad Ayub. You can't go wrong. He has a number of books. The dude writes. He's really smart, really easy to read as well. And you can impress your friends and influence people if you quote the brother. The Gun Digest book of concealed carry, for one, is priceless. Good stuff in there. There is Hidden in Plain Sight. There's revised editions. The Practical Guide for Concealed Carry by Trey Bloodworth and Mike Rayleigh. And that's been out a while. It's a Paladin Press book. A really good book by a really good person. The Cornered Cat, A Woman's Guide to Concealed Carry. If you have to fight like a cornered cat by Kathy Jackson. Kathy is also brilliant, and you want to check that out. CorneredCat.com. There is Deadly Force, Understanding Your Right to Self-Defense by Masada Ayub. Another good book. And from my friend Chris Ching from Top Shot, Shoot to Win, Tips, Tactics, and Techniques to Help You Shoot Like a Pro. This one is a good coffee table book. You'll pick up stuff every time you read it. It's simple. A lot of photos. This guy has there's more pictures in here than a primer. So those are my top 5 recommendations for now that everybody should check out. And if you missed that, I will try to put those in the show notes in case you didn't understand what I was talking about. Speaking of show notes, I am putting them on that blog in a minute. blackmanwiththegun.com. A few months back, I decided to open the Black Man with a Gun Show podcast up to all the groups that are in my area and around the country to help be their voice. Unfortunately, everybody's used to doing things their own way, and that not necessarily working too well. So nobody's utilizing the power and the reach that I have. But I want to pass on that we just missed October 14th. The 10th Cavalry Gun Club out of Maryland had a sister shoot, which was pretty successful. And I'll be a video of that on the site and a link back to the 10th Cavalry Gun Club up in near Baltimore, Maryland. Black Guns Matter will be in Mobile, Alabama, November 4th. And there'll be a link to that eventbrite.com event. Also, Modern American Shooting and Firearms, same day, November 4th. They'll be somewhere in a place called Lovettsville, Virginia, at the Game Protection Association on Berlin Pike. They're having a civilian carry and mindset seminar sponsored by MASF. So there's just a few things that I could snag. I had to go dig for them. But hopefully in the future, our leaders will recognize that they got a friend here and send me their events and help me promote them. Or not. Do you want a new podcast to listen to? Check out my new one. It's called Speak Life. It's a must listen for every man and woman who wears a badge, owns a gun, hunts, or believes that freedom is life's first right. Speak Life podcast is going to give you what you missed, make you smarter, give you less stress, less fear, and more faith in God. The same God folks are trying hard to trivialize, marginalize, and misunderstand. Speak Life podcast, now available on iTunes. Well, I think that's it for this show. Yeah, I know. Quick, right? I want to thank Marcus Weldon and my friend and brother, Michael J Woodland, for contributing this week. And thank you for being a part of my life. Just in case nobody has told you this today, know that I, Reverend Kenneth Blanchard, loves you. There's not a darn thing you can do about it. In the beginning, I talked about respect, and it reminded me of a song that came out in 1971. The song was written and produced by Stax Records singer Luther Ingram. You probably remember it. Had some Memphis horns in it, and it was a confrontational song that had resonance for the self-empowerment movement during the post-civil rights movement in the 70s, as well as many women demanding more respect during those same years. This was 71, but it sounded pretty much like what I felt like this week. Back then, the writer of the song said that black folks needed to learn to respect themselves. And that's pretty much what this is about. Until next week, shalom, baby. If you disrespect anybody that you're running into, how in the world do you think anybody's supposed to respect you? If you don't give a heck about the man with the Bible in his hand, y'all, just get out the way and let the gentleman do his thing. You the kind of person that wants everything your way, yeah. Take the sheet off your face, it's a brand new day. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a good cahoot. Nah, 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 whoa, whoa. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. Na 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 na. you're walking around thinking that the world owes you something 'cause you're here. You're going out the world backwards like you did when you first came here. Yeah. Keep talking about the president won't stop air pollution. Put your hands over your mouth when you cough, that'll help the solution. You cuss around people and you don't even know their names. No, then you're dumb enough to think that'll make you a big old man. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a good cahoot. Nah, 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 whoa, whoa. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. Respect yourself.